started this session really well by placing my tripod in a not so stable position. So as soon as I lifted my legs up and I wasn't really seeing that anymore, it fell off, and I only noticed when I finished this first set. On the second one, I asked someone to record it for me. They were very kind, and when I looked back at them, I was trying to keep my legs a bit further forward so that they would increase the lever arm and make the exercise more difficult. And boy, it is more difficult. I don't feel like I can do more than 5 repetitions on each set without my back really collapsing to the point where it's unrecognizable anymore. So what I will be doing for the next few weeks will be staying in a 3 to 5 rep range and see if I can make the reps look a bit better. So that was the opener of the session, quite high intensity for the first exercise, and then I was kind of matching that on the push-in variation for the day, which was the eccentrics on the handstand push-ups. In here, there was a good little save where I managed to keep my vertical up and not flipping over. That would have been embarrassing. But I managed to add 1 extra rep on the first set, and what I noticed is that I was also trying to keep my torso a bit closer to the wall. These boxes were a bit in the way, so I moved them out just to get a bit more space to maneuver in. And I was really focusing on trying to lower myself as slowly as possible. I noticed that there is a point of the descent where it really becomes very hard and my velocity increases, and this is probably what I should be focusing on fighting the most when I am progressing these over the next few weeks. And here I'm trying to get a slightly better angle just to see if my body is staying straight as I am lowering down. I'm noticing that there is a tiny bit of an arch in the low back, but it's not really that pronounced in these repetitions here. I think it was a bit more in the first set and definitely much more in the previous week. And when I'm looking at these from the side, I'm also very keen to see whether the increase in velocity at the midpoint is actually something that messes up with my form. But I noticed that I am somewhat able to maintain upper back tightness throughout the range of motion, and also core bracing seems to be okay, to be honest. And the only maybe dissonant note with my programming brain was the fact that I'm using 2 very high intensity and low rep ranges movements on top of each other for the upper body. The original plan was to be doing tuck rows and then superset those on a higher rep range pike push-up variation, but because I have been experiencing a bit of an annoyance on the left piriformis in the left glute, I am trying to avoid any hip flexion position that kind of aggravates that. And while it's been feeling okay up until now, I do not really want to flare it back up, and so I decided to kind of bite the bullet and jump in progression, or at least in intensity, with the handstand push-up eccentrics, just because they were meant to be the next step in the progression anyways. And it's just the fact that on other days I am usually doing a higher intensity, lower rep range exercise, and then I'm also doing something that is slightly lower in intensity and a bit higher in rep range, just to allow to get some extra volume in there. But because most other days I'm kind of following this idea, I don't really feel it's a big problem. I will be progressing these two alongside each other and see how things go, really. And about the lower body part of the session, I removed the swings, which I'm a bit sad about, but I didn't really want to be placing too much stress on the back of my knee, which is still healing. And I think that the Nordic curls will be the main thing at the moment. I will be implementing swings later on as soon as I feel better about that. But I was keeping the Bulgarian split squats. I added a 3rd set as per usual, and I think that I will be adding weight next time. Ciao!